Well, coming up here on Fox 4 News at 11, it is back to the bargaining table for teachers in Lee County tonight, fighting for higher pay. What the district offered tonight that they say they've never offered before.
Live from Southwest Florida, this is Fox 4 News at 11.
And thank you for watching Fox 4 News at 11. I'm Nadine Yanis.
And I'm meteorologist Katie Walls. It was a beautiful day if you were able to enjoy this, Nadine.
I know. This was a rainbow that our Fox 4 crew took around 6:30 this evening. After some rain came through, you could also see the parking lot is wet, and we saw those storms kind of light up earlier this afternoon, Katie.
That's right. Much needed rain, though. We were talking earlier about those drought conditions. Still abnormally dry conditions, even some moderate to severe drought here across Southwest Florida. So there you go. Maybe you're lucky enough to catch one of those double rainbows after one of those downpours rolls through your neighborhood. We're going to be seeing opportunities here for the next couple of days. Those rain probabilities will be staying elevated 70 to 80% again tomorrow, Wednesday, even heading into Thursday. And as we look at the last 12 hours, definitely very active conditions on radar this evening. And by the way, if you're looking eastbound and you can see something illuminate, you're looking at this storm right here. But if you look northbound, you're likely seeing that storm up there affecting Arcadia, parts of DeSoto County. Very heavy rain falling right now, right along 70 as well as 760. That's where we have the potential for even some pea-sized hail right there, just to the south and east of downtown Arcadia. Also, of course, monitoring that heavy rainfall. We could easily pick up 1 to 3 inches of rain from this particular slow-moving strong thunderstorm. Looking at the last 12 hours, most of Southwest Florida picked up a little bit of something in the rain gauge. Of course, there were some pockets out there, but this is the kind of rainfall that we really need, especially when it comes to pulling out of drought, because look at this. Naples were down by around 2 feet. Punta Gorda down by over 10 inches. Fort Myers still in deficit going back to January 1st by 15 inches. And we are still in the midst of rainy season, friends. That really doesn't wind down until mid-October. So we'll talk more about that wet weather that could impact plans, but also could help our drought coming up.
We definitely need it, Katie. Thank you. Well, tonight, talks continue over teacher pay here in Lee County, with a first-time teacher making about $48,500 a year. So district leaders propose tonight what they say is the highest pay raise ever. But teachers say with cost of living so high, on top of them having to compensate for a teacher shortage, they are now at a breaking point. So Fox 4's Domingo Murray was here for tonight's contentious meeting to find out what they're at right now at the bargaining table.
I'm Fox 4's Domingo Murray here at the Lee County School District headquarters. Now, the district has nearly doubled its initial offer of about $16 million, but the educators I've spoken with today say it's still not going to give them a livable wage.
I have authority to put on the table $32.8 million for teacher compensation.
This is the start of negotiations between the Teachers Association of Lee County and the school district. Jake Nordby is one educator saying what many are telling me tonight.
In the grand scheme of things, we still need more.
The offer from the district went from about $16 million to $32.8 million after hearing teachers complain of burnout. For example, some talked about teaching algebra when only qualified to teach English and just not having enough money to meet budget.
Additional dollars were originally allocated in the budget for a reaction to the salary schedule study.
While the district said it's digging deeper to make a higher offer, just as Nordby says, more experienced teachers are on their way out, with 18 teachers quitting since the start of the school year, just 1 month ago.
I know I'm not the only one, but for me, if we don't get a stronger offer, it is literally the difference between me doing what I love in the town that I'm from or having to move on and find another profession.
As the contract negotiation continues, teachers have the opportunity to vote on if they think the offer is suitable or not. In Lee County, Domingo Murray, Fox 4.
Well, finding a fix in Fort Myers Beach as we approach a year since Hurricane Ian changed everything. Both long-term and short-term projects were discussed at a community recovery workshop tonight. Fox 4's Anbar Ruiz takes us inside to see what the priorities for the town are tonight.
Fort Myers Beach officials gathered at the Diamond Head Beach Resort Monday evening to give an update over the town's rebuilding efforts. One of the biggest projects discussed was the beach renourishment project initiated prior to Hurricane Ian, and now with nearly full permits from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
Renourishment project that's going to be pumping about 900,000 cubic yards of sand out onto the beach, elevating the beach.
The goal of the beach renourishment project will be similar to that of the berms project, which the city says was successful in protecting homes from Hurricane Idalia's storm surge. Other projects that came up include the completion of Bayside Park and the current focus on Bay Oaks Rec Center, which will have its gym open in November, with work on its pool just starting out. Mayor Dan Allers tells us that the buildings on Fort Myers Beach may look different, but everything else will stay the same.
But it's important for us to keep that community vibe and not turn it into just a tourist attraction.
As the recovery efforts begin to shift from short to long term, ideas for economic recovery, such as more workforce housing and even the possibility of tiny homes on the barrier island, came up. But everyone who showed up has their own main focus.
As long as we're allowed to wear our flip-flops into any restaurant for dinner, then it'll be okay.
Whether flip-flops at dinner or the ongoing work of rebuilding and trying to make sure that the power is back on everywhere and that the people come back, it's the endless effort just days before marking 1 year since Ian hit. Reporting from Fort Myers Beach, Anvar Ruziev, Fox 4.
And if you are interested in joining this conversation here, it does continue tomorrow morning. Town Leaders will host its second community recovery workshop at the same location, Diamond Head Resort, from 10 a.m. to 11:30 tomorrow morning. Well, covering Fort Myers tonight as we gear up for peak tourist season, some stores and businesses tell Fox 4 they're still struggling to stay afloat. Fox 4's Bella Line spoke to vendors that were recently kicked out of their farmers market spot. And now it's been a historic place for Southwest Florida and families, but they have a new spot tonight.
I'm Fox 4's Bella Line here at the Friends of Koreshan Farmers Market, where just weeks after Fox 4 spoke to vendors about a sudden location change, they're staying positive and already seeing the benefits.
So far, so good.
After the farmers market went on a month-long break, the people are back, selling what they bring, but in a setting they're not used to.
So far, it's been pretty similar.
Says Todd Johnson, the owner of Artisan Bread Company. When Fox 4 last spoke with Johnson in late July, he and many other vendors said they were concerned about the location change. But now, even just for their first week,
we've had a pleasantly surprising turnout for the first day, and I'm not sure there's a lot of people that just happened to be driving by and saw us.
Johnson says the new location off Three Oaks Parkway at the Three Oaks Town Center is thankfully more visible than the last location from the road.
It's at least as busy as we were at the park and probably busier.
Although they might not be physically at the park anymore, the nonprofit Friends of Koreshan are still running the farmers market, and according to Administrator Cindy Claufley, vendor fees still go towards supporting the park.
Actually, I've had quite a few people who stopped by this morning that had been habitual visitors from the park. They're very happy to see us back.
Claufley says the new location has the room for up to 40 booths and tables. For now, they're staying positive and hoping for the best.
You know, it'll be a few weeks or so before we really build up, I think.
Live from Southwest Florida, this is Fox 4 News at 11.
When you look at the Hard Rock sports betting app, it says you are outside the service area anywhere in Florida. But that might change very soon. I'm Ryan Kruger, and legalized sports betting may return to Florida as early as Monday, maybe even Tuesday. Or it could take even longer as the case makes its way through the court system. The Circuit Court of Appeals in Washington, D.C. denied the request from West Flagler Associates for a full rehearing of their case, a mandate which would reinstate Florida's gaming compact with the Seminole Tribe. That's expected by Monday. But West Flagler has asked for a stay while it considers trying to take this case all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. Gambling law expert Dan Wallach tells me the Seminoles might want to wait until they know for sure about the future of the court cases before relaunching their app and risk having it taken down once again.
They're taking a risk that would happen to them in 2021 where they offered it and then had it, taken away. That could potentially happen again.
A spokesman for the tribe told me there's nothing new from them. If Florida allows sports betting, it would become the largest state to allow it, with some experts saying it could bring in more than $1 billion a year. Ryan Kruger, Fox 4 Investigates.
Well, Florida's next state Speaker of the House is promising more bipartisanship from the Republican-led supermajority and an independent legislature. Representative Danny Perez, formally appointed to the role this morning. He'll hold the House gavel in 2025 and 2026. Since first elected in 2017, the Miami Republican has shot like a rocket through the ranks of the Florida House. Perez vowed true bipartisanship with Democrats, limited government, and belief that the legislature is the first branch. That suggested more autonomy from the governor, but Perez later told reporters he's not trying to cross swords here. The new speaker also said property insurance is his top priority.
Do I believe we're done with property insurance? No, not a chance. We can't say that we are done discussing property insurance until when I start to knock on doors in the homes of my district, people start to understand that they're seeing the positive change.
Democrats' Perez's speech had some highlights, though minority leadership said the devil would be in the details. House Minority Leader Fentrice Driscoll said her mission is to find common ground where possible. You see her right here, and she wants to hold the majority accountable. Well, a black bear sighting shut down a dozen rides this morning at Disney's Magic Kingdom. And no, we're not talking about the country bears here. Parkgoers actually spotted the bear up in a tree on the west side of the park. Adventureland, Frontierland, Liberty Square all had to close down. FWC, as you see here, was eventually able to sedate the bear and got it out safely. All rides and attractions were back open in the afternoon. Now we got to head over to Pensacola Beach, where beachgoers really got an up-close look at this shark that washed up ashore. This couple was visiting from Texas when this nearly 10-foot shark came to shore. At first, they thought it was chasing bait, but when it came all the way to the shoreline, they quickly realized they needed to jump in to help. The group struggled to pull the heavy shark back to sea. Thankfully, their efforts paid off. Also, we have a consumer alert for iPhones users. Starting today, you can actually update to Apple's latest new features. We're going to have that story coming up. I'm going to go. All right, we had that World War II veteran. You saw him there just opening up a birthday present, 105 years old, Lieutenant Colonel Mr. Wilbur there, and he was celebrating his birthday. So we want to wish you a big happy birthday and thank you so much for your service. He served in the U.S. Air Corps, which is now known as the U.S. Air Force, back in 1940. So happy birthday to our local retired World War II veteran. All right, and we got to talk, are we talking tropics now? Because the 11 o'clock advisory came out. Okay, because we know that at 11 o'clock we usually get the advisories, and it came out earlier. So what do we know as we're tracking Nigel tonight?
So Nigel is likely going to be close to major hurricane status by this time tomorrow night. Nadine, it's going to be undergoing rapid intensification. Great news, though, no threat to the United States.
Okay, we'll take it.
No
Another one.
Bermuda. Exactly.
There we go.
Off and away through the central Atlantic and away from the Sunshine State. So certainly good news for us. We're dealing with a little frontal boundary right now. That's what's kicking up a lot of that stormy activity this evening. And it's going to be the case here the next couple of days. We'll continue to see downpours, heavy at times. And of course, the heat and humidity will continue to play factors. It's not until this weekend that we'll actually start to feel a little taste of fall, some of that drier air building in. But this is what Nigel looks like. It's about 1,800 miles away. Category 1 hurricane for now. Sustained winds 85, gusts to 105. Central pressure is dropping. We are starting to see some signs of strengthening with Nigel, forecast to become a Category 2 heading into tomorrow. It does look like it's going to be just shy of a Category 3 here over the next 24 to 48 hours, and thereafter takes off toward the north and east. Late week, heading toward the weekend, some of those remnants could potentially affect locations like Ireland and the UK with tropical storm force, and they tend to see at least one big system a year, so this could very well be it. We're definitely going to be watching that part of the North Atlantic very closely. Meanwhile, a bit closer to home, here's something of interest, and you certainly don't need to be worried about it. This is likely to become an area of low pressure, a subtropical low. It's going to stay offshore. It's going to kick up some rough surf for our friends along the southeastern coastline. What it's going to do for us, it's actually going to drive in some drier air. So because because those winds circulate counterclockwise, just imagine that drier air coming down. That's what we have to look forward to Friday heading into the weekend, partially because of that. And then we're also monitoring a wave likely to become a depression over the weekend. A new wave forecast to roll off the coast of Africa. High probability of that further formation. Let's take a live look outside right now as we look live down Pine Island Road from Cape Coral. We are seeing those showers and storms out there. If you look at everything shining brightly on the East Coast, that's actually a storm that's well over Stewart. But as we look north, it's this thunderstorm right here affecting our friends up in Arcadia as well as DeSoto County. And just here in the last 10 minutes, National Weather Service did issue an aerial flood advisory here. No surprise, seeing as this storm has been nearly stationary, very heavy rain, but at least we're certainly seeing some improvements there. No longer those deep reds. And this storm is gradually winding down, but we do have that aerial flood advisory in effect here for the next couple of hours. So here are those weather headlines. What you need to know: showers and storms are likely through Thursday, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday. Just make sure you have that rain gear close every single day. Then looking ahead to the weekend, fall officially begins at 2:50 on Saturday morning, and heading toward the weekend, as we just discussed, it's going to be trending a bit drier, more comfortable dew points. Cooler humidities, at least more bearable humidities, and those rain chances will be much lower as well. But heading into tomorrow, with this front hanging out close to us, we're going to be dealing with those increasing storm chances. So heavy downpours again in the mix, especially tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, just like we saw today. Areas of heavy rainfall, lightning could very well slow things down. So just keep that in mind. At the bus stop, I'm optimistic it'll be mostly cloudy, 76, but heading into the afternoon, just make sure everybody has that rain gear ready to go. Not just tomorrow, but through Thursday. Then Friday into the weekend, that drier air starts to build in.
The start of fall, Katie. Thank you. Can't wait for it. Also, we have a consumer alert for iPhone users today. Starting today, you can actually update to Apple's latest new features. And the first one includes a live voicemail. Your messages will be transcribed while you're deciding whether or not you want to pick up that call. Also, here's another feature. If you can't answer the FaceTime call, no worries. Callers can now leave a video message. I feel like we've needed this one for a really long time. Also, exchanging numbers now easier more than ever. Just bring your iPhones close to each other, and then it'll automatically do it. Even autocorrect has a new upgrade. Listen to this. The keyboard will learn your habits and just starts adjusting to the way you talk. Now, that one might be a little bit creepy. All right, then we have to show you this. A little alligator recently became an internet sensation after pictures emerged showing that it was missing top of its jaw here. In fact, when we first saw the pictures, it was hard for us to even believe that it was real. But that little gator has now been rescued and now has a new home in Gatorland, Florida. Michelle Meredith is showing us how the reptile is now living in gator paradise.
I'm amazed by alligators in general because of stories just like this.
The search is over. The little half-snout gator that's been an internet sensation was caught by a trapper on Friday and is now in its forever home, Gatorland. And how has she been since she's been here?
Pretty good. We've moved her into her own little bungalow.
So let's get up to speed. Earlier this month, the alligator was spotted near a lake in Sanford. A park regular took a picture, posted it on Facebook. And well, there's something about a gator with its top jaw sliced off below the eyeballs that brings out an emotion rarely seen for alligators. Compassion.
She's pretty calm. As you can see, alligators have personalities, kind of like people. Some days is a good day, some days is a bad day.
So here's what the folks with Gatorland have figured out. The gator is a she. Her snout probably got sliced off by a boat propeller, and most likely she's been living off things like frogs and snails.
That wound that she has is healed over. So she has been able to feed herself without a top jaw for some time now. That's impressive.
In the picture originally, she looked like she was pretty good in terms of her weight, feeding herself, but the folks here at Gatorland tell me that not really. See this loose skin? It shouldn't be there like that, so she needs to gain some weight. So how will they feed her? Well, with bite-sized pieces of chicken, fish, steak that she'll throw back in her throat.
I mean, she's getting a lot of attention right now, and I hope it doesn't go to her head. Become a little diva, but right now she's being very good, very down to earth, very humble at this point.
And continues to captivate social media. Gatorland wants folks to help name her. Some of the most notable suggestions: Jaws, Flapjack, gumdrop. But the most heartfelt is the name Hope, because that is what this little gator has given us.
All right, a quick look at our top stories tonight. Negotiations between the Teachers Association of Lee County and the school district continue. The Lee County School District headquarters, the district said that it's nearly doubled its initial offer of about $16 million to now $32.8 million. But teachers are saying it's still not going to give them a livable wage here. So it's about an $8,000 raise per teacher. They do say, though, with the cost of living and having to cover for other teachers, they're pretty much at a breaking point. So contract negotiations do continue. And of course, Fox 4 will follow through for you on that.
And as for our weather tomorrow, sending the kiddos off to school, even though you might not need an umbrella at the bus stop, it's going to be fairly cloudy. Temperatures running in the mid to upper 70s. By lunchtime, those isolated storms will start to bubble up. Okay. Then they'll become more numerous throughout the afternoon and evening, just like we saw today. Heavy downpours, frequent lightning, and it does look like they're going to be pretty widespread here for the next couple of days. So just a heads up, wet weather becoming pretty likely. Rain chances running at 70 to 80%. But then over the weekend, that drier air builds in for the start of fall.
Start of fall. I'm here for it. Until then, we hope you have a great night, and don't forget the umbrella.